Yo boys, so I spent the weekend with a ton of seven-figure entrepreneurs down here in Miami, and it was a great time and I learned a lot. I realized I'm getting little broed out here in the space, and as much as you guys think that 10K a month is a lot of money, right? Here are 3 things that I learned while just being around them and just absorbing all the knowledge that they had that I think that you could apply to anyone watching this video into your own life, your own business. Now, the first thing I wrote down here in my notebook was, in order to become, you must already be. Now, essentially what that is saying is that if you feel like you need something in this world and like you're in desperate need and dire need of it, right? The best analogy that they used was like, you know, whenever you had a girl back in like high school or middle school, right? And you liked her and you were chasing her, right? You're constantly blowing up her phone, DMs, whatever, right? She was not attracted to you. She did not give a fuck about you, right? But the moment you detached and the moment you just let it go and you didn't even really care about her, you were just going about your life doing your own thing, that's when she started being clingy. That's when she started reaching out more and more, right? So the universe gives you things in this world that, you know, you feel like you don't need. Not in the sense of like you don't actually need it, but like if you're feeding for it every single day and you're like hungry for like, oh my God, I need this. I need to make 10K a month or else I'm not gonna be able to survive. It's like the universe almost repels it away from you, right? And honestly, it's kind of difficult in the moment to think that way, you know, but it more so just comes down to not really having a scarce mindset and operating off of abundance, right? Operating off of gratitude each and every single day. I mean, right, I went from the college dorm room to sitting on top of fucking penthouse balcony here in Miami, and, you know, I'm still striving every single day, trying to work hard every single day, trying to achieve greater things, new things, right? So it's never gonna end, right? The uphill battle, the uphill climb to the top is never really gonna end, but you have to operate out of abundance, not out of scarcity. And it honestly takes the time, a little bit of time to learn that. Especially, you know, even coming from me and just, you know, being in desperate times and not having business being the way I wanna be all the time and stuff like that. So, you know, it definitely takes a moment to operate like that, but I can even see myself and in my past experiences, you know, the days that I made the most money, bro, I was just working, I was just flowing, I was just doing stuff. I didn't even really care about the sales or anything. We were just doing stuff, making sure that the buttons that needed to be pressed were getting pressed, and knowing that as long as you press them in the right order at the right time, then the outcome is inevitable. So just understanding and operating like that in your day-to-day, knowing that it doesn't really matter how much money you made that day or whatnot, right? What matters is that you're consistently putting in the inputs, because you know as long as you're putting in the right inputs, you're gonna get the output that you want regardless, right? And vice versa. If you put in the wrong inputs, then you're probably not gonna get the outcome that you want. The second thing I wrote down is kind of a little bit more general, but it's more so in the sense that money itself is literally just a concept, right? It's literally just a concept, right? Like, and I told one of my friends, and I was like, okay, imagine this, right? Close your eyes right now. However, I don't know whoever you are watching this video or whatnot, but close your eyes right now. I'll make it like somewhat realistic, because at a certain point, like, people just can't imagine this, but like, imagine having like $700,000 right there in your checking account right now, right? Close your eyes. You open up your bank app, you see 700,000. Now add an extra zero and add an extra comma, 7 mil, 70 mil. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can visualize that and you can physically see it and feel it, and notice how you feel almost happy. You're like, holy shit, bro, I got 70 mil in my account just there, sitting there, right? So there's a place and there's a universe in where you actually do have that. Now, it might not be in this one at this current moment, in this physical reality, but there is a way and there is a version of yourself that does have that, and you can strive for that. And money in itself is literally just a concept. Like, I was around people who are making $1 million+ a month liquid, and they feel like they are like, okay, bro, like I've done all this, like they're trying to find the next thing to do. So even me, I'm like, damn, bro, I'm trying to hit consistent 6-figure months. I'm trying to get to 500K a month, $1 million a month. Even at $1 million a month, they're still trying to find the next thing in life, bro. So sit back, enjoy the journey, and understand that this is literally just a game, bro. This is literally all just a game. Money is something that us as humans literally just created to avoid bartering and avoid trading and just have one universal system. But at the end of the day, bro, when we die and when we go up into the heavens, we're not taking a single penny with us. And I think that's very important to understand that, yes, as much as, you know, sometimes it's stressful and sometimes, you know, we have the big wins and whatnot, right? At the end of the day, there's a lot more that comes with this game. And you just have to be careful, and you have to understand that at the end of the day, this is all just a game, and it's all just a figment of our imagination that us as humans just give value for a very short time in our lives that we exist. Now, the third thing that I had written down here was also something that, especially in the online business space, you know, e-com space, you know, being as young as I am, you know, 22 years old, thinking long term has been something that I've been recently really started to take seriously, especially as I kind of elevate in life and in business. And, you know, so often we're thinking about, oh, 10K a month. I need to make 10K a month. I'm making $1,000 a day. I need to make money tomorrow, to next month. And as good as it is to move with speed, right? That's what you need. Speed is absolutely key in business. Thinking long term is very important because time will always keep moving. And trust me, there were moments in my life where I've spent money and I'm like, damn, kind of wish I didn't spend that. Not so much as in like you regret it, but it's like, you know, you just have to think more long term, you know. So often, especially in today's day and age, I think we kind of just wake up, we go about what we need to do, and we don't really think about, like, you know, the 6 months, the next year, 5 years, 10 years. And that's kind of like the longer term play that I'm really starting to take more serious and just look at what I want for the future of my brand, company, and just everything that I'm doing right now, because everything has a compounding effect, right? The work that you do today, you may not see the results of, you know, for years. The work that I did back in 2020, 2021, 2022, I have not seen the fruits of that labor until recently, bro. Literally until recently. And it's just skill stacking and understanding that those skills compounded over half a decade. And the skills that I'm acquiring now and that I'm learning each and every single day, right, those are gonna compound in another half decade, 10, 20, 30 years, and who knows where we'll be, right? So understanding that time will always keep moving forward, right? Like, remember when you were in like 2nd grade and you were in school, the school day felt like forever, right? And now, even just saying 2nd grade feels like eternity ago, however long ago, however old you are watching this video. So understand that in the moment, time might feel like, you know, it drags and whatnot, but it moves quick. So thinking long term, especially with the businesses that you want to build, the connections that you have, you know, having good relationships in business and genuinely just helping people is something that's going to take you a very, very, very long way. And notice how I didn't even really mention anything so much about like the actual business models or any like systems or mechanisms themselves. These are more so just like principles, because at the end of the day, anyone can make money with any business model. Everything works, right? I made money with Amazon FBA. If you guys want to learn how to sell on Amazon and how I make money selling on Amazon, there's going to be a link down below in the description of this video. But at the end of the day, every single business model works. Whether you're, you know, doing drop shipping, Amazon FBA, you're running ads, you're doing a marketing, you're a copywriter, you're, you know, you have your own coffee shop, whatever it is, bro. At the end of the day, everything works. And understanding that the long-term game, especially, you know, if you're a younger person watching this, we have the rest of our lives to make money, bro. So don't get so caught up in the day-to-day and not being exactly where you are. Understand that you generally do have a lot of time, but also not really, right? Understand that you also are getting gapped. There are people who are working harder than you. And as you can see, you know, this is the result of my hard work, and I'm going to go 10 times harder. One thing that I also did learn that I want to say is understanding that the people at the top don't work as hard as you do. Like, not in the sense that they don't work or they're lazy, but more so in the sense of, like, if you're sitting here watching this video and you're trying to get to your first 0 to 10, maybe 20, even 30K a month, it's really just all about brute force action. Like, you literally just have to sit there and click as many buttons and spam as many buttons until you hit 10K. I promise you 10K, 20K in a month nowadays online is not hard. Pick a vehicle that, you know, somebody's making money in stay in it long enough, I promise you, you can make 10, 20K, right? 10, 20K in a month isn't that difficult. What is, and what I used to think, I won't say what is because now I don't think it is hitting that first 100K, 250, 500, right? That's when you start to have a little bit of money, and that's when you really start to play into the upper echelons of business. And that's been my goal for like the past, I want to say 2 years now. And, you know, I always thought that it was some magical number, you know, and I thought the same thing about 10K a month. And I sat there and I realized, wow, the same way I used to think about $10,000 in a month is the same exact way I'm thinking about 100K a month, 250K a month, 500K a month. That's the same exact way. But I eventually hit those numbers because of the actions that I was taking and the systems that I put in place. But me now trying to hit 250K in a month, right? It's like, I felt the same way as when I was trying to hit 10K a month. I felt that, like, dang, like this is actually like kind of difficult. But then I sat there and I realized that the people who are at the top, really it's more so about just system building and having a good infrastructure and consistency in place, right? You know, when you're trying to hit that first money, that first wave of online money, bro, it's just brute force action. But I realized that the more brute force action you take doesn't necessarily equate to more money, especially the higher up you get, right? Just because you're working 12 hours a day doesn't necessarily mean you're doing the highest leverage task in your company, and that means you could be losing out on thousands and thousands of dollars simply because you're not doing the highest leverage task. But I mean, if you're a pure beginner just watching this video, you don't even have to worry about that. You just have to do some type of task and do it enough. But if you're, you know, making some type of money and you're really in that scaling phase, then yeah, you need to focus on outsourcing some things and focus on actually how to get to the next level. But I mean, those are really 3 things. I took away a lot more, but those are the 3 main takeaways that I took from being around people who are making over $1 million a month. Now, if you guys want to learn how to even start making your first 10, 20, 30, 50K a month online, then there's going to be a link, like I said, down below in the description where I teach people how to start and scale their own Amazon businesses in 2025 and 2026. I've been doing this since high school, like 2021. So if you guys want to learn how to start and scale your own Amazon business, there's going to be a link down below in the description for a free training where you can go watch that and apply for my one-on-one coaching program if you're interested. But without further ado, I will see you boys in the next one.